Hey everybody, this is Professor Lilly, and I just want to go over you the parameters of the final exam. So before I do that, I just want to let you know that I am doing I'm doing the grading today and tomorrow, next few days for the Tech Evolution project. I mean, at this point, you've already decided what if you're going to do pass fail for the course. Um, so it might take me a few days to do that, but then you will be able to look at your total for the in Moodle on your grades, the total for the course, and that's how I basically will be determining the final grades because the total is an average and all the major assignments are 10% each. Or no, well, they're the same percentage each. Um, so you will be able to look at that total and see pretty much what you should be expecting to get when I convert it to a letter grade and turn it into Loyola. So based on that score, you can decide whether or not you want to take the final exam, which is optional. Um, in general, I mentioned this to the other students that if it looks like after grades get submitted, if it looks like in your state you're still going to be expected to stay home for another month or two, I did recommend to some of them they might want to consider taking online summer courses at Loyola in the first summer session, in particular, if you're whatever your plans were for the summer, if they had to be canceled. Um, just because all the courses for Loyola are online in the summer, and at this point you have a much better kind of expectation of what to expect for an online course than perhaps you did. You all kind of had a uh, perhaps not always fun, but a crash course in what online learning is about um, when we converted so quickly. Um, and other than that, before I get to talk about the exam, I just want to say I hope everyone has a great summer. You make the most out of it. I hope you enjoy the class. And if you need anything from me, like whether you're my advisee or not, then just send me an email if you need some advice about this class or that class or your majors. Yeah, just send me an email. I'll be on my email all summer long. Um, and everybody take care. Okay, so next let's talk about this fun final exam. So like I said, it's optional. I decided that if you decide to take it, I'm only going to put it in the grade book if it's pretty much the same as your average already or it's better. So it can only kind of improve your total. Um, so again, it if like let's say you really want that A and you're in the A minus area, and then you think you can really ace it, so you end up getting like in the high 90s a score, or a really really solid A for the exam. Then maybe it pushes you up to the A territory, or if you're in B territory now, it could maybe potentially raise your grade. Um, but you should so let's say you're not sure, then you should look at the essay questions that I am going to post next week, and I'll talk about that in a second, and look at them and think if it can put together a solid essay that you think would fulfill the guidelines. There's some detailed guidelines for each question, and if you think you can pull that together and hopefully get a good grade. I'm not going to be giving out A's to like work that's not like A work, but if you're following the guidelines, and like let's say that in terms of the number, let's say it says you need to have at least 5 cited sources, and you need to answer these 4 mini questions within the main question, and you're hitting the word count, and you're putting in some good graphics and links to your resources, then you could expect that you'll probably, if you're doing all that, you're going to be getting an A or an A minus on the exam. If you really just don't have the time to pull together to get a really good grade, then maybe you decide not to do the final exam. With that in mind, here's how it's going to work. So it's going to be an essay you're going to have several days to work on, and you you have until these times here are like the end times of when our normal 3 hour exam period would be. Um, like this one, the May 5th for the 140 section, it really started at 9, but the end time, because we have 3 hours, would have been noon. And then for the 12:15 section, the end time would be at 4 p.m. Of that 3 hour block that we were given. And that's mostly, I chose those mostly because Loyola is kind of a stickler, and they're like, even if you're doing online exams, we want you to use your allotted exam time. So I'm just doing that. I mean, and if anything else, you know that you have those 3 hours to work on it. So you're gonna have the essay available, the essay questions available for several days. So when I put them here, it'll be a Word document right here. When I do that, then I'll also send out an email, let you know that it's there, and you can come and you can look up. There'll be 3 options, 3 questions. You choose one of them, one of the 3 that you're most interested in. Then you choose that. And again, in that Word document, each question will have pretty detailed guidelines and mini questions or breakout questions that you need to answer in order to get a good grade. You'll have several days to work on it. You can work on a word processor. And the way you're going to turn it in is this final exam journal. The journal tool looks a lot like the blog tool or the wiki tool, but the difference is that only you and I can see your entry here. But you can add photos. I mean, adding infographics or photos. And obviously adding links to any web sources that you include. The questions are kind of similar to the assignments we've been doing over the last 3 weeks as we've gone to online only, and where it's asking you to maybe watch a video or read an extra article. So that's what these 2 things are: how Amazon changed the book industry and cheeseburger video. It's like a TED Talk, and those are for resources for 2 particular questions that I've just gone ahead and already put those up there. And then also some of them are asking you to look into certain textbook chapters for our course textbook, our ebook, and so elements of the questions ask you to do that. So if you're going to cite the textbook, you could just say textbook chapter 2 or whatever. And then or you can put a little quote, a little parentheses if you're citing one of these 2 resources here. And then if you cite a web page, then you would just include it as a link. So in the actual sentence, link a word or a phrase to that website where you get that particular information. So I am going to make these available on, I guess May 1st is Friday. So on Friday, I'm going to make them available, and I'll just put the Word document here. So you'll have several days. The main thing to do is now there is one way that doing the final exam could hurt you, and that's if you plagiarize. So if you plagiarize, you're going to put me in a bad situation to give you a penalty. So don't. I mean, if you don't want to do it, your own work, just don't do it. Don't plagiarize, because I will know. It's really easy for me to search a whole sentence and find out that you did not write the sentence. So that's the only way it could hurt you. So don't do that. Remember, this is optional, and that's it. So again, I'm grading. I started grading the Tech Evolution stuff assignments yesterday. It probably will take me a few days, but you should be able to see once that's added in. Look at the total for your grade in the gradebook in Google or Google in Moodle, and you can see what your total is, and then you can decide, hey, do I want to try to do something to lift up my grade enough to go to the next level, or not. It's up to you to decide to do that. Obviously, if you're in a solid, if you want an A minus and you're at 90 or 91, then there would be no reason to take the exam. Or if you have a 93 already, then you're already in A territory, so you don't need to do it. So really only people who are kind of on borderline and feel that they could turn in solid A or A minus work, whatever you want to get pulled up to. Um, Keep in mind that it's not going to change the grade that much. I mean, so if you need like a half a percentage point or maybe 1 percentage point to go up to the next level, maybe two at the most. If you put in something really solid, then you could potentially raise your grade that much with a good final exam. So if you have any questions, email me, and I'm here, or we can schedule a Zoom meeting if you have any other kind of questions. So take care. Have a great weekend. Email me if you have any questions, and I will be posting the exam and sending a reminder email about that in a few days.